This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Minister of National Defense, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has presided over the annual ceremony awarding promotions and medals to a number of the People's National Army ahead of the 64th anniversary of independence and the recovery of national sovereignty. Algeria's Constitutional Court has continued receiving official reports from provisional election commissions following Thursday's legislative elections as part of the legal process for validating the results. And thousands of Iranians are gathering in the capital, Tehran, to pay official tribute to late Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who was killed 4 months ago in a joint U.S.-Zionist attack. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail from Radio Algeria International. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Minister of National Defense, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has presided over, here in Algiers, the annual ceremony awarding promotions and medals to a number of senior military officers, high-ranking officers and civilian personnel of the People's National Army ahead of the 64th anniversary of independence and the recovery of national sovereignty. The President was welcomed by the Ministry Delegate to the Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, General Saïd Chingriha. After listening to the national anthem, President Tebboune reviewed military detachments representing the various branches of the armed forces, received military honors, and greeted senior military officials attending the ceremony. Algeria's Constitutional Court has continued receiving official reports from provincial electoral commissions following Thursday's legislative elections as part of the legal process for validating the results. Under the electoral law, the reports must be submitted within 60 or 96 hours of the close of voting operation, with a possible 48-hour extension if necessary. It's worth noting that once the Independent National Election Authority, ANI, announces the provisional results, candidates, political parties, and electoral lists have 48 hours to file appeals with the Constitutional Court. The court will examine the appeals before announcing the final election results, which are expected within 10 days of receiving the provisional results, unless the deadline is extended. The Minister of National Education, Mohamed Saghir Saadawi, has congratulated Algeria's national education team after its achieved first place in Africa at the 2026 Pan-African Mathematics Olympiad. The minister also praised students Ala Yahya, who was crowned African Queen of Mathematics. In his congratulatory message, Mr. Saadawi hailed the team's historic achievement at the competition held in Côte d'Ivoire. Algeria secured the continental title with an impressive haul of 9 medals, including 2 perfect scores, while Ala Yahya earned the prestigious title of African Queen of Mathematics. The Secretary of State to the Minister of National or Foreign Affairs in charge of the national community abroad, Sofiane Shaib, has received a group of students taking part in the first edition of a recognition program for outstanding students from the Algerian community living abroad. The initiative is part of a summer program organized for young members of the diaspora. A statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the program coincides with celebrations marking the 64th anniversary of Algeria's independence and Youth Day and aims to encourage high-achieving students from the diaspora to continue excelling in their academic and university careers. Running from the 3rd to the 9th of July, the program includes a series of cultural, scientific, and educational activities, as well as field visits organized in cooperation with several ministries, national institutions, and public bodies. The ministry noted this first-of-its-kind initiative forms part of the state's efforts to strengthen the ties between young Algerians abroad and their homeland by recognizing students who have achieved outstanding academic successes in their countries of residence. It also offers them the opportunity to discover Algeria's rich historical, cultural, and civilizational heritage, as well as its academic development and tourism potential. On the occasion, Secretary of State Sofiane Shaib praised the participants for their high academic standards, stressing that the initiative reflects the special attention the country's highest authorities give to Algerian talent living abroad. He said it also demonstrates their commitment to strengthening the diaspora's connection with the homeland and encouraging them to contribute to Algeria's national development. Mr. Shaib also commended the close coordination and cooperation among the various government sectors, which helped secure and ensure the successful launch of the program's first edition. Let's listen to Mr. Shaib.
هذا البرنامج هو في طبعته الأولى يهدف إلى تكريم تميز.
This program in its first edition aims to honor the scientific excellence and academic achievement of national students residing abroad. A program has been prepared for the benefit of 20 outstanding male and female students from our community representing 15 countries. The program will include a number of scientific and cultural activities in addition to tourist activities. The goal, of course, is to implement the directives of the country's highest authorities who pay special attention to citizens living abroad.
That was the Secretary of State to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in charge of National Community Abroad, Sofian Shaib. Algeria has reaffirmed its support for Sudan's sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity, calling on the international community to reject any attempt to divide the country and to condemn all external factors fueling the conflicts. Speaking during an urgent debate at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Algeria's permanent representative Idriss Latrache stressed that lasting peace can only be achieved through a Sudanese-led and Sudanese-owned political process based on dialogue, national unity and reconciliation. Algeria called for respect for Sudan's sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity, urging the international community to condemn external interference and support a Sudanese-led political process based on dialogue, unity and reconciliation. Let's listen to Mr. Latrache.
For Algeria, today is the day to reaffirm the fundamental imperatives that must guide any genuine effort for the sake of peace in Sudan. First and foremost, uphold Sudan's sovereignty, national unity and territorial integrity while rejecting all attempts to fragment the country and its institutions. Secondly, condemn all those that continue from outside to fuel violence, to deepen the suffering and to undermine every prospect for peace. Thirdly and lastly, work towards a Sudanese-led and Sudanese-owned political process that brings together all sons and daughters of Sudan to chart their own future through dialogue, unity and reconciliation.
The Algerian diplomat also described the humanitarian crisis in El Obeid, the capital of North Kordofan state, as a stark reminder of what he called the world's largest humanitarian tragedy. He urged the international community to protect civilians, prevent foreign interference, and prioritize mediation and reconciliation over confrontation. And Sudan's Foreign Minister Muhyiddin Salim has said that the government is ready to engage in sincere initiatives aimed at ending the war that has gripped the country since April 2023. Mariam Barshi has more details.
Speaking at a session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Sudan's Foreign Minister Muhyiddin Salam said any peace initiative must align with the government's roadmap, which calls for the dismantling and disarmament of the Rapid Support Paramilitary Forces, RSF, the implementation of security measures, a ceasefire, and the launch of a Sudanese-led political process with international support. He also renewed Sudan's call for the RSF to be designated a terrorist group, urging countries backing the force to stop supplying it with weapons and drones allegedly used to target civilians. The United Nations has warned that escalating drone attacks in the Kordofan region killed at least 880 civilians between January and April 2026. The conflict between the Sudanese army and the RSF has triggered one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, leaving tens of thousands dead and nearly 13 million people displaced.
And South Sudan is rapidly approaching a critical humanitarian tipping point as aid needs continue to outpace the international response. The World Food Programme, WFP, and the World Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, said a combination of escalating local conflict, climate shocks, and severe funding shortages has pushed the country into its worst hunger crisis since independence. Due to a lack of resources, the agencies have been forced to prioritize assistance for people facing catastrophic levels of hunger, leaving millions of other vulnerable people without adequate support. And thousands of Iranians are gathering in Tehran as national funeral ceremonies for Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei officially began 4 months after he was killed in Israeli-US strikes during the war with Israel and the United States. Iranian authorities expect between 15 to 20 million people to take part in what is expected to be the largest funeral in the country's history. The 6-day ceremony is being presented as a show of national unity and strength amid ongoing diplomatic talks between Tehran and Washington following last month's framework agreement to end the conflict. Khamenei's coffin is lying in state at the Grand Mosalla in Tehran before a funeral procession through the capital. It will then travel to several cities in Iran and Iraq before being buried in the holy city of Mashhad later this week. The funeral comes under tight security measures with hundreds of thousands of mourners expected from across the country. Senior Iranian officials and foreign dignitaries have already paid their tribute, while authorities have set up extensive facilities to accommodate the large crowds. And new data from Gaza's health ministry has showed that the ongoing Israeli offensive has led to a dramatic decline in births and a sharp rise in miscarriages and medically necessary abortions. Only 1,701 births were recorded in May, down from more than 6,000 in November last year, while nearly 1 medical abortion was recorded for every 2 births in April. Palestinian health officials warned that miscarriages, stillbirths, and infant deaths are increasing due to widespread malnutrition, shortages of essential medicines, and the effects of repeated bombardment. Doctors in Gaza said that severe psychological trauma, pollution caused by airstrikes, and deteriorating living conditions are seriously affecting women's reproductive health, warning that the sharp fall in births threatens the enclave's demographic future. One physician described the trend as the loss of an entire generation that never had the chance to be born. Earlier this year, Amnesty International also warned that continued restrictions on the entry of essential medicines into Gaza are having a devastating impact on women's health despite the ceasefire. And Lebanon's health ministry has announced that the death toll from the Israeli attacks has risen to 4,301 people, with 12,199 others injured despite a ceasefire that remains in effect. President Joseph Aoun has called on the United States to continue supporting Lebanon following a U.S. brokered framework agreement with the Israeli occupation army aimed at achieving a lasting peace. And finally, the World Health Organization WHO says the weekly number of new Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, has reached its highest level since the current outbreak began, making it the largest outbreak ever recorded of the Bundibugyo strain. Mariam Barsha has more details.
The outbreak has now resulted in 1,502 confirmed cases and 473 deaths. According to Congolese health authorities, 628 patients are currently in isolation or receiving treatment, while 229 people have recovered. The virus continues to spread mainly in the eastern provinces of Ituri and North Kivu, where insecurity, armed group activity, and frequent population movements in mining areas are hampering case detection and contact tracing. In response, the WHO has launched a clinical trial in the DRC to elevate potential treatments for the Bundibugyo strain. The first patients have already been enrolled and will be monitored for at least 28 days. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said the study offers hope for effective treatments for communities affected by the outbreak. The Bundibugyo strain, first identified in Uganda in 2007, is considered less deadly than the more common Zaire strain. However, no vaccine or specific treatment currently exists for it, making the outbreak particularly challenging. Ebola is transmitted to humans from infected animals and causes severe symptoms including fever, vomiting, headaches, and in some cases, internal and external bleeding.
And with this last piece of news, we come to the end of this news bulletin for today. Time now for our weekly program, starting with my colleague Mariam Barshi with Echoes of Time. It will be followed by another program on the Sharia Park. And as for me, I'll meet you again tomorrow for a fresh edition of our news bulletin. Until then, stay tuned and goodbye for now. To travel back in time and learn about the most prominent events that marked human history, no need for a time machine. Echoes of Time, with our colleague Mariam Bershi, is your only address. A program broadcast to you every week on Radio Algeria International.
Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of Echoes of Time, where we bring history to life and connect the past and the present. I'm your host, Mariam Bershi, and as always, I'm delighted to have you with me on this journey through the rich tapestry of human history. Today's program delves into the fascinating history of the Kingdom of Aksum, one of the great civilizations of the ancient world. We will explore its origins, rise to power, cultural achievements, social structure, religious significance, interactions with other civilizations, and eventual decline. So settle in as we take you on a journey through time to uncover the story of this remarkable African kingdom. Let's begin our journey. Aksum, also known as the Aksumite Empire, emerged around the 1st century in what is now northern Ethiopia and Eritrea. It evolved from earlier civilizations, notably the Damak Kingdom, which laid the groundwork for Aksum's development. Scholars suggest that Aksum was an indigenous creation rather than a direct continuation of any previous civilization, although it absorbs influences from neighboring cultures, including those of the Sabaeans from southern Arabia. This amalgamation of local and foreign elements gave Aksum its distinctive cultural identity. Aksum's strategic location at the crossroads of trade routes connecting Africa, Arabia and beyond facilitated its rise as a major trading power. By controlling the port city of Adolis, Aksum became a vital hub for merchants from Egypt, Greece, Rome and India. The kingdom exported valuable goods such as ivory, gold and incense, while importing luxury items like silk and spices. The 3rd and 6th centuries marked Aksum's peak. During this time, it expanded its territory significantly. Notably, under King Izana, Aksum conquered the declining kingdom of Kush and adopted Christianity as its state religion. This pivotal moment not only solidified internal unity, but also enhanced trade relations with Christian nations in the Mediterranean. Izana's leadership exemplified Aksum's military and diplomatic prowess, setting it apart as a dominant force in the region. Aksum is renowned for its unique contributions to culture and architecture. The kingdom developed the Ge'ez alphabet, one of Africa's earliest written scripts. Its monumental architecture, including impressive stelae, tall stone pillars marking royal tombs, which still stand today as a testament to Aksumite engineering prowess. These towering structures, some exceeding 20 meters in height, symbolized the kingdom's wealth and sophistication. Artistic expressions in Aksum were heavily influenced by Arabian culture, evident in their sculptures and religious artifacts. However, Aksumite also cultivated a distinct aesthetic, blending indigenous and imported styles to create works that reflected their cosmopolitan identity. This cultural dynamism is a testament to the kingdom's openness to external influences while maintaining its unique traditions. The social structure of Aksum was complex and hierarchical. At the top was the king, who wielded significant power and was often viewed as semi-divine. Below him were nobles and high-ranking officials who assisted in governance and military leadership. The king's authority was supported by a class of merchants and artisans who played crucial roles in the economy, particularly in trade and craftsmanship. The majority of the population consisted of farmers and labourers who worked the fertile lands of the highlands and contributed to the kingdom's agricultural output. This agrarian base was vital for sustaining the population and supporting trade activities. Additionally, Aksumite society was marked by a blend of indigenous customs and influences from neighbouring cultures, creating a rich tapestry of traditions that included music, dance and oral storytelling. The conversion of King Ezanes to Christianity in the early 4th century was a transformative moment for Aksum. This event not only established Christianity as the state religion, but also positioned Aksum as one of the first Christian kingdoms in the world. The spread of Christianity influenced various aspects of Aksumite life, including art, architecture, and literature. Churches were constructed using local stone, many of which still stand today as remarkable examples of early Christian architecture. The most famous in the rock-hewn churches of Labila, which are often attributed to later Ethiopian Christian traditions but reflect the architectural innovations initiated during Aksum's reign. Moreover, Aksum played a crucial role in spreading Christianity throughout the region, influencing neighbouring kingdoms and establishing ties with other Christian communities across Africa and beyond. Aksum's strategic location made it a melting pot of cultures and centre of international trade. The kingdom interacted with various civilizations, including the Romans, Greeks, Persians and Indians. Roman accounts describe Aksum as a wealthy and powerful kingdom, known for its impressive architecture and vibrant trade networks. These interactions facilitated cultural exchanges that enriched Aksumite society. For instance, Aksumite adopted certain architectural styles from their Mediterranean counterparts, while also influencing them with their own unique designs. Additionally, trade relations allowed for an exchange of ideas, technologies and goods that contributed to advancements in agriculture and craftsmanship within Aksum. Aksum's economy thrived on trade. It controlled key trade routes across the Red Sea and into Arabia, facilitating an exchange network that connected Africa with Asia and Europe. The kingdom minted its own coins, which were used for commerce throughout its territories and beyond. This economic strength allowed Aksum to exert significant influence over neighbouring regions and maintain a powerful military. Despite its remarkable presence, Aksum began to decline in the 7th century due to several factors. The rise of Islam drastically altered trade dynamics in the region. As Muslim powers gained control over key trade routes, Aksum's economic base weakened. Additionally, internal strife and possible environment changes may have contributed to its decline. By the end of the 6th century, Aksum had lost much of its former glory. While it continued to exist for several centuries, thereafter it never regained its status as a dominant power in northeastern Africa. The Zagwe dynasty eventually emerged in the 12th century as a new Christian state in Ethiopia. The legacy of Aksum is profound. It laid the foundations for modern Ethiopian culture and identity. The kingdom developed into one of Africa's oldest continuous civilizations through its adoption of Christianity, an integral part of Ethiopian society today, and its historical narrative continues to influence Ethiopian identity profoundly. Many Ethiopians view themselves as descendants of this ancient kingdom, thus fostering a sense of continuity with their past is paramount. The Kingdom of Aksum stands out not only for its historical significance as a trading empire, but also for its profound influence on religion, culture, governance, and international relations in ancient times. Its legacy continues to resonate in modern Ethiopia today, a reminder of Africa's rich historical tapestry and its enduring contributions to global civilization. joining me, Mariam Bershi, on this exploration of history. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Echoes of Time, where we uncover the stories that continue to shape our world. Until then, stay curious and keep listening to the echoes of the past.
Taking its name from a nearby town, the Shab'a National Park is located in the Blida province of the northwest region of Algeria. The park incorporates the mountainous area of the Blida Atlas, part of the Tel Atlas range, where the snow skiing station of Shab'a is situated. The Shab'a skiing station is one of the few in Africa that can offer skiing on natural snow. Although the Shab'a National Park is one of Algeria's smallest protected areas, it has varied terrain and abundant flora, providing suitable habitats for a variety of animals and birds, including a number of magnificent raptor species. The ancient Atlas cedar forests of the park are home to a population of Barbary macaque, an old world monkey species that is rated as endangered on the red list of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. The distinguishing feature of the Barbary macaque is its short stump of a tail, which is believed to have come about as a result of centuries of disuse. There are numerous walking trails within the Shab'a National Park that have been designed for visitors to enjoy the rich natural beauty of this charming Algerian national park, which is well worth visiting.
تشاهدون برامج إذاعة الجزائر الدولية بالصوت والصورة عبر تقنية لايف ستريم على صفحات التواصل الاجتماعي فيسبوك، تويتر وقناة اليوتيوب لإذاعة الجزائر الدولية. لمزيد من الأخبار تابعوا radioalgerie.dz/Radio Algérie International.
إذاعة الجزائر الدولية. صوتنا في العالم.
Sintonizan Radio Argelia Internacional. El diario hablado.
Hola, ¿qué tal? En la actualidad de este sábado 4 de julio, el presidente de la República, Abdelmajid Tebboune, preside la ceremonia anual de entrega de rangos y medallas a varios oficiales del Ejército Popular Nacional. Millones de personas se congregaron en Teherán por segundo día para las ceremonias fúnebres de Ali Khamenei, asesinado hace 4 meses en un ataque americano sionista. Y la presidencia palestina denuncia por boca de su portavoz una escalada de los ataques perpetrados por los colonos israelíes en Cisjordania. Estimados radio oyentes, muy cordiales saludos a todos. En vísperas de las celebraciones que marcan el 64º aniversario de la independencia de Argelia y la recuperación de la soberanía nacional, el presidente de la República, Abdelmejid Tebboune, ha presidido esta mañana en el Palacio del Pueblo de Argel la ceremonia anual de concesión de rangos y condecoraciones a generales de brigada, oficiales superiores y personal civil del Ejército Popular Nacional. A su llegada, el presidente de la República, jefe supremo de las Fuerzas Armadas y ministro de Defensa Nacional, fue recibido por el ministro delegado ante el ministro de Defensa Nacional y jefe del Estado Mayor del Ejército Popular Nacional General del Ejército, Said Shengreha. La tradicional entrega de rangos y condecoraciones se celebra cada año en el marco de las festividades del 5 de julio, una fecha emblemática que conmemora, tal como decíamos, la independencia de Argelia. Y con este motivo, siempre el presidente Abdelmejid Tebboune rindió homenaje a los mártires, combatientes y generaciones que lucharon contra el colonialismo, destacando los grandes sacrificios realizados para recuperar la soberanía nacional. En un mensaje emitido con motivo del 64º aniversario de la independencia de Argelia, el presidente Abdelmejid Tebboune afirmó que esta fecha simboliza el orgullo, la dignidad y la unidad del pueblo argelino e insistió en la importancia de preservar la memoria histórica y mantenerse fiel al legado de la Revolución de Noviembre y de los mártires. El presidente señaló, por otra parte, que la nueva Argelia continúa avanzando gracias a la voluntad nacional con el objetivo de fortalecer el desarrollo sostenible y situar al país entre las economías emergentes en los próximos años. El presidente argelino destacó el desarrollo de las recientes elecciones legislativas, calificándolas como un paso importante en la consolidación de la democracia, y felicitó al pueblo argelino tanto dentro como fuera del país. Finalmente, el presidente expresó su reconocimiento a los combatientes y renovó su homenaje a los mártires de la revolución argelina. Siempre, estimados oyentes, en el marco del 64º aniversario de la independencia de Argelia, el secretario de Estado encargado de la comunidad nacional en el extranjero, Sofian Sheib, recibió ayer a los estudiantes participantes en la primera edición del programa de homenaje a los alumnos más destacados de la diáspora argelina. Durante el encuentro, Sofian Sheib destacó el alto nivel académico de los participantes y afirmó que este programa refleja el interés de las autoridades argelinas por fortalecer los vínculos de los jóvenes de la diáspora con su país de origen y fomentar su contribución al desarrollo nacional. Escuchemos su declaración.
Esta es la primera edición de un programa destinado a rendir homenaje a la excelencia científica y el rendimiento académico de los estudiantes de la comunidad nacional residente en el extranjero. Se ha preparado un programa para 20 estudiantes destacados de nuestra diáspora argelina, procedentes de 15 países. Durante su estancia participarán en diversas actividades científicas, culturales y también turísticas. El objetivo es aplicar las orientaciones de las altas autoridades del país, que conceden una atención especial a los ciudadanos